Welcome to this live event. Hosted by Scott Lewis, Rob Flick, Brent Gove, and the legend Gene Frederick, we will be diving into a conversation about the unique potential that is in real estate right now. So grab some coffee, buckle up, here we go!
Out there, great to see you. Facebook Live. What is May 23rd, 2020? Wow, here we are. So good to see everybody. Welcome to the show. We were built for this live. My name is Scott Lewis with my co-host today, Gene Frederick, Rob Flick, and Brent Gove. Good to see you guys again, as always. What a great show we've got today. I know you guys are excited. I'm very excited about the guests we're going to have on here today, and I'm very excited about talking with you guys today because I'm going to put the three of you on the spot today. You don't know this yet, but get ready because I'm going to fire some questions to you guys today, and you're going to be on the hot seat. No, all kidding aside, it's going to be a fun show. Rob's going, what's he going to say? Oh, my gosh. Rob, you're muted, so you're laughing, but no one can hear you. So, but good to see you guys. Gene, you're back in Dallas today. Things are going well there. The state's opening up, and how are you doing?
I'm really excited because I have a lot of family in the Dallas area. We have owned a lake house for 15 years right outside of Dallas, about an hour in East Texas. And it just stopped me this morning, just bringing it back home to family, bringing it home to get close to the kids. I got right in the other room. I'm sure you're going to hear them at some point during this live broadcast, some kids breaking through that door. I just heard the door slam right there. Yeah, there'll be people coming back and through.
There you go.
There, see, I told you, there's my wife.
What's gonna happen, right?
This is live. Live. So I've got 8 kids and 8 kiddos, all different ages out there, and we just enjoy the lake. It just made me think of freedom, Memorial Day weekend.
It's right now. I remember 5 years ago, Gene, this weekend. You shared the presentation about EXP. You shared the vision of where you thought it would go and what would happen. And we talked a little bit about this, how this, wouldn't it be wonderful if we got to here? And it's really interesting in how far we've come in that short period of time. And we had to get our licenses, after that, and because we'd been retired for quite some time. But the vision you shared it has come to pass. And it's coming to pass. And with Michael Valdez on the show today, who's going to talk about international expansion, this is like unbelievable. More of that vision. I just want to read a real quick thing we just got from the governor here in Puerto Rico, just so you guys know. It says, breaking news. Now says we can start exercising outdoors. How lovely. Immediately between 5 a.m. and 7 p.m., we still have a 7 p.m. curfew, right? We can now go swimming. We can snorkel. We can paddle boat. We can kayak. We can surf. We can windsurf. We can walk, run, or jog. We can do calisthenics. We're actually allowed to do bird watching. That's news. And we can take pictures and photography now anywhere. And oh yeah, we can slide in a game of golf or two. Yee-haw! Freedom's coming!
Bird watching is the big one, I think, there. Bird watching. What do you do if you see a bird outside your window? You're like, ooh,
well, you're not allowed to sunbathe on the beach. So if you're on the beach and you're sort of looking like sunbathing and the police come, then what you have to do is say, bird watching.
There you go. Nice.
Brent, I know you got to enjoy some golf with your father yesterday.
Yeah, man. We were up at beautiful Lake Tahoe. I think it's one of the 8th wonders of the world. Let's see if I can find me and my pops there. So there they are, man. Me and my dad. He's 84 years old, and we tore up that golf course. And in case you're wondering, there is what my pops looks like after he's hit a good shot. He was super excited. It was just blue sky and pine trees and God bless America. And thank you to all of our vets and this wonderful country, Memorial Day, remembering everyone. Thank you, Rob. Rob was a Navy jet fighter pilot. The only thing I did was ride a cruiser bike through my college campus. That's about all they checked me out to do. But thank you, Rob, for who you are and your service to our country. And I love big holiday weekends, especially Memorial Day. So awesome. This is great.
Exciting. And exciting too is what's happening at EXP right now. You know, I mean, things are just going crazy. We're growing as always. We continue to grow in this market, and you know, I'm getting lots of. Oh, we just lost Rob, so I'm sure he'll figure out.
Oh, wait, I forgot to show one important picture.
He's
That's
out bird watching.
James and James's dad, Keith, on one of the holes. Isn't that beautiful up there? I forgot to show that picture. I don't want to forget.
That's a great one. Yeah, so Rob went to go watch some birds. He's out bird watching. So when he gets done, he'll be back.
Toucans. He's in the Caribbean, right? He's chasing toucans or something.
Yeah, toucans. That's funny. Let's see.
Well, you know, Scott, as you're getting Robbie back, it reminds me of a story in the 80s. And Rob did 5 years ago is when we were at this lake house, sitting outside, storming late at night, and I'm telling him about this new concept called EXP with 400 agents.
Oh, yeah.
And it brought me back to, we have to have major dreams in our lives. I mean, it's all about dreams. It's all about having dreams, envisioning what it's going to be like. So in the mid 80s, I'm in Dallas. I mean, remember, I'm watching TV. And by the way, in the mid 80s, most people don't know, in the Dallas area and in Texas, we had a depression. Oil and savings and loans crashed. And I'm watching on TV, and there's a very, very wealthy person on TV. If you guys remember the Hunt brothers.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, billionaires. And it was one of their sisters. It was a sister of the Hunts. And they were asking her, she's very philanthropic. She was given money. In the 80s, it didn't hurt her, right? They were in the billions. And they said, well, what's your life different than everybody else? This is the mid 80s. And she goes, you know, my life's not different. You know, I have problems with the kids, school, whatever, everything. But she goes, you know what I do have? And the reporter goes, what? And she goes, I have more options. And he goes, what do you mean? She goes, well, if we want to go to Europe this weekend for vacation, we just go. And I sat back, it's the mid 80s, it's 35 years ago. And I'm thinking to myself, I want my life to be about options. I just want options. I want to have a lake house where my grandkids can come someday. You know what? You set the vision board, it happens. Does that make sense?
Yep. Oh, yeah.
I can remember 20 years ago, Scott, saying I want to go to Hawaii and see my mom and take all my kids. And I made the vision board and I said it. I said, it's all going to be paid for, no debt. You know what happened? 3 months later, I'm in Hawaii with my mom, with all my kids. So what I want to tell you guys is this. To me, Memorial Day, freedom. My granddad was a colonel in the Army in World War II. He actually built the road to Burma. And I think of my granddad. I mean, I think of everybody that's protected our lives and to be free. Come on, guys. This is it. I mean, everybody wants to come to America. Why? Because we're free. We have options, right? We have major options. So I think my whole life, I've just wanted more options. And you know what? That's why I love being on this call with you guys every week, is because we think the same. We think huge. We think what could happen, what will happen. I mean, Brent gets me fired up every week.
I'm getting goosebumps listening to you, Gene. You're giving me goosebumps.
You know, when I got Robbie out here 5 years ago, Rob, it brings it back. I said, what if we had a company that was all about the agent, not about the company? What would that be like if we let the agents go free rather than everybody selling franchises for owners? Rob goes, and literally, you guys don't know this, 4 hours later, Rob puts his hands in his face and he goes, you're going to get me out of retirement. You don't remember that, Rob?
I remember. I definitely remember.
And you had to go in and talk to Jen. And I mean, a week or two later, you're going, okay, Jen's given me the opportunity to get out of retirement. When you see something that's going to give your life options, let me tell everybody on this. You need to think about it. You guys need to think bigger. You have plenty of time to think bigger. You go make your vision boards. I want to see huge vision boards. I want to see vision boards of where I want to go, where I want to be. Because quite honestly, everything I have in life is because I envisioned it. Nobody told me to do it. I envisioned it. You guys have seen my vision boards. You know, the bottom line, I've seen Rob's vision boards. I've seen Brent's vision boards. I've seen Scott's vision boards. I've been in your homes. And it's funny, our imaginations create our reality.
Yeah.
Quite honestly, Memorial Day brings it home to me because I remember my granddad, my brother was in the Navy, Rob, with you, back in Vietnam. My brother-in-law, JT, was Desert Storm. He's with us this week. Thank him for his service. And I just thank all my relatives, all my friends, and I think of the people because I didn't get to do that in my life. I was in between all this stuff, but thank you, and I'm very grateful.
Awesome.
That's
Love
beautiful.
Gene. By the way, there's right off my vision board. There's my cabin. So this year, getting the cabin, Lake Tahoe, baby. Lake Tahoe. Look at that. Isn't she a beauty? Don't just pick any cabin or any lake house. Pick the one that excites you. That one excites me. And you guys will all be staying there, and many people watching this. Some of the digital keypad, just go. It's not no big. I'm not going to make it a rental. It's 24/7. So nothing against anyone who is.
When I think of freedom, I think of the ability to do what you want, when you want, where you want, with the people you want, wherever and for long as you want. And our passion, I mean, everybody's different in what their vision boards are. Most of our vision board was traveling, seeing the world, learning different cultures, trying different foods, understanding other people in other countries. And now to have a business that will allow us to move internationally so we can do both of our passions, real estate, recruiting, changing people's lives, traveling and seeing the world. It's like the perfect storm for me. It's something that I've been waiting for and looking for decades. I'm more excited now than I have ever been. And I really want to bring on Michael as fast as we can.
Yes.
When it's ready, because this is a big deal. I think him coming aboard is a major step in the development of this company into being a worldwide concern in a very, very big way. No question.
I know Brent's been talking about 1 million agents, and we've all been talking about that for a while now. It's really interesting. I love hearing you guys talk about your dreams, and we do this all the time. And I think that's one of the secrets to our success. And I was talking to a guy that works for me yesterday, and he was like, "Why do you keep doing this?" Because we're putting this show together, and there's a lot of stress, before the show. He's like, "Why do you keep doing it?" And I'm like, at this point, it's about helping others. I mean, there's nothing like having those conversations with brand new agents or with an agent. You get on a three-way call with someone that's, just right on the edge of coming on board, but they really don't get it yet. And you have that opportunity to just share your vision, to share your dream. And if they get it, if the light bulb goes off and it clicks, man, magic starts to happen and you change a life. And that's exciting. I mean, to think that with Michael and, with all the people that are coming on board now, to be able to carry this vision and this dream worldwide. And we're not going to have the hurdles that we have, in other countries. It's going to be a whole new, attitude, a whole new game. People are going to get more excited than ever when they find out they have agents on their team, in Australia and England, some of the new countries. So, man, I'm with you, Rob. I can't wait to get Michael on here. But what I was going to ask you guys some questions, but we'll save them for next week because you guys are so good. You don't need questions, right?
Let's get Michael on, man. Let's get
Michael. Let's get the dude.
Everybody's ready to get Michael on. Let's see if technology will do its thing here. Give me a second.
By the way, Claudia, if you're watching in Chicago, hello. Welcome to your future.
Fine, Brent. Lisa, if you're watching in Arizona, hello.
All right.
Technology worked.
Yes. I
Yes.
want to introduce Michael. Michael is now currently the Executive Vice President of International Expansion here at EXP. His main responsibility includes building on the current successful footprint. We're already in Canada and Australia, in the UK, growing exponentially. I love that, into other markets that would benefit from this innovative platform. Michael was the former senior vice president of global servicing for Realogy Corporation. In his role there, he oversaw the international servicing platform for Realogy brands, including Century 21, Coldwell Banker, ERA, Better Homes and Garden, Corcoran, Klein, Sotheby's International, in 113 countries. Man, and the resume goes on and on and on. This guy, you know, it's unbelievable what he's accomplished. When he came on board, I was like, wow, this is going to be fantastic. And then when I finally got to talk and meet Michael, I was like, this guy's real. I loved him from the very beginning. Welcome to We Were Built for This Live, Michael. We're glad you're here.
I am so glad to be here with all you guys. This is just so amazing. And I actually want to start because I've actually been moved by the conversation already. And I want to sort of also give my thanks for everyone and the service that they've given to this country, and also talk about freedom. And, you know, my dad was Cuban. And so my dad was part of Batista's cabinet. And because of that was a political prisoner. And when he was released, he came to this country. And so something that we always grew up with is that tomorrow's never guaranteed. And so it gives you just a drive. And so when you start talking about the fact of it's family, it's what you have, it's what you're looking at, it's that vision board. It's the fact that we are living for today, we're living for the future. And I can't get more excited about this EXP model. When I saw this thing, when I was talking to each one of you and your excitement and the way that you've sort of built what you've built here and the culture that's been built. And when we start talking about generational wealth that we're building with this model, it can't get any more exciting. So I'm so happy to be talking about this, about freedom, about international expansion on this day. So thank you for the invitation, guys.
We're
Great
excited.
to have you here, man.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Hey, just one question, Michael, to start
Yes,
it off. We all three of us live in Puerto Rico now, and we know the Puerto Ricans speak really fast Spanish. We heard the Cubans speak even faster Spanish. Is that true?
We wouldn't say so. Listen, like everything else, it's just your point of view, isn't it?
Right. I love it.
We're all good. All five of us will go see the same movie. We'll have 5 different opinions.
That's right.
Yeah.
True.
Hey, could you tell us really quick? I think it's really important when we all met you, the story of how you found EXP. I think
Sure.
it's just amazing.
Listen, I knew about EXP, but what got me here was actually I do a lot of industry stuff as well, and I wouldn't read that whole resume either, Scott. It's sort of like it's a long one, but I sit on I'm the chairman of Exp Global, and I sit on the board of directors for NAREP as well. And so so I was doing one of the industry shows in New York. Which was the Global Real Estate show. And on the panel was Jason, myself, we had the CEO of Douglas Elliman, CEO of Knight Frank, and I think it was CEO of Berkshire Hathaway. And we were all talking about global luxury, and we all sort of like just started jumping into conversations. And then, you know, as benevolent as Jason is, as an individual, and as humble as he is, you know, he basically sort of said, I think Michael has a lot more global experience to start taking these questions. And so then people started talking about other disruptors in the industry without naming anyone, and started talking about technology and things like that. And then I turned around and said, listen, from what I know, the only real disruptor is really EXP. And it's really their model. And I truly believed it. It's the business model. And they're really the only true technology company. And so then afterwards, after that panel, Jason and I just stayed in touch, and we started conversations. And then we started trying to imagine, as we talk about the vision board, what would an international footprint of EXP really look like? And we started playing around. And then during Inman, I sat with Glenn and Jeff Whiteside, our CFO, and Jason, and we basically had a 2-hour brainstorm session. And it started growing from there. So it was really exciting, but we've been working on this for about 4 to 5 months now.
That's really good.
Yeah.
So without putting you on the spot too much, Michael, you know, we're talking about goals, we're talking about vision today. What is your vision for EXP globally?
So I'm going to throw out some really big goals here, since we're talking about goal settings and things like that. I am actually predicting that we will have more of an agent count outside of the U.S. than we will inside. And so,
absolutely.
I agree 100%.
that is really my goal. And we've got I got a head start. I got about 1,000 agents. So now I'm actually running like mad, and I'm going to build this thing. I've only got 28,000 to go. So it's okay. We're going to get there. And we might even get there this year. We're talking to some really, really big numbers so far. I've been talking to, without giving away countries and things like that, because I really want that wow moment to be there. As I'm building this, I think it's really important to build this in the way of what you guys have already built. And we've all had individual conversations already. And it's really the idea that this is your house. You built this house. I'm the new guy. And so you built this culture. You were the ones that made this the fastest growing real estate company in America. You're the one that gave us 80% growth in the United States. And so I need to build on that momentum. And I said to Glenn and Jason the other day, now it's sort of like, every spotlight is on EXP right now. They're waiting for us to sort of trip up. They're waiting for us to sort of say, oh, so you see, it's sort of like, but we're sort of like, we're the big boys now. We're not on the Russell 2000 anymore. We're a NASDAQ listed company. We're a NASDAQ listed company with no debt. Our stock price is a lot higher than a lot of the other real estate companies out there that are global companies that have been around for a long time, including my former employer. So there's a lot to say here. And so when we actually are now looking at the expansion of this story, it is important, really important, how we do that dialogue. And so I don't want us to really give anything away until we're ready to give everything away. And so we want that reveal to be like, like that Picasso moment when you actually sort of unveil the painting. It's going to be when we're ready to build on this story. I can't tease you by saying that we are talking to, there's one country in particular that might be our next country. And we've got about 2,000 agents ready to go in that country. So that would already increase our current full-on international agent count by going to our next country. So that's your teaser.
I like it. Hey, quick
I like
question,
the tease. That's a great tease.
That's a good tease, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
It's a wonderful
And
one.
so what's even better is that the other conversations that are behind it will even dwarf that.
Wow. I like it. Can you say in 20 years what you could see the probability of how many countries we would be in 10, 15, 20 years? Are you allowed to project a vision for that? I know as a publicly traded company.
I can probably do my prediction. And it's like, Brent, after our conversation last week, you sort of said 1 million agents, baby. And I sort of said, let's put a timestamp on it. Remember, it was sort of like, let's really sort of make it. It's sort of like, the goal is it's not a goal until you put a finish line on it, right? So let's sort of like, I'll sort of jump in and do 1 million agents by 2025.
Wow.
Let's jump.
That's a big goal.
Let's go.
You have more vision than me. I was thinking,
let's go. Gene just told me to go big.
But that's because our paradigms have been that we've been having to do this. Remember, from my experience, people in other countries are looking for opportunities all the time. People in the United States seem to be a little bit more blasé about it. They haven't been pushed. They haven't had the need. Politics has never been a big daily conversation like it is in other countries in the world.
Absolutely.
People still come to the United States for an opportunity. If we can bring the opportunity to them and they can be part of a large global U.S. opportunity-based business for the world, think about that. I think they'll come times 10 with anything that we've been here before.
And listen, there's also, Rob, just on that thought, there's 27 countries around the world that give residency for real estate purchases. And so there's a different way to start looking at this business, right? It's the idea that we're coming back to freedom. People that are leaving their country for whatever reasons. And so they want another citizenship. They want another residency. Right. They want to be able to give their families a better life. And so when you start talking about that narrative and you add this model, it really is, it's nonstop. It's just sort of like, you know, like you guys have said so many times, you can't unsee this. You know, when you start sort of sharing this with people and you start sort of sharing what that can be for someone, that emotional connection, what that means. And Rob, you and I were on a call the other day for a prospect in Germany, and you shared your very personal story. And, you know, and that was moving to me as to what this represented. And, you know, and I think everyone has that story. You know, we're all type A's. That's great. But it's the idea that there's a reason behind it, right? It's sort of like it's Gene just talking about his 8 kids in the other room. It's just the idea of, you know, Brent sort of showing the house that I'm going to be knocking on the door really soon too. But, you know, it's about that. It's about the emotional connection of why we're doing this.
Well, you know, we talk about options, and, you know, that was my theme of the day is options. Okay. Agents only have one option all my life: commissions.
Yeah. Yep.
That's it. And all my life, I've been coaching them, training them. I've written books on it. How can I help them make more money in less amount of time? And that's good. But EXP is the first one that's given them more option. Michael, you mentioned generational wealth. That's huge.
Oh my
God. You look at me and Rob, we're thinking about it.
Yeah.
We're thinking generational wealth. We literally, that's what we talk about, because we're at that age, we're in our 60s, and we're at that point where we're going, look at, you know, right now I can go out to dinner because I'm under 65. Rob has to stay home. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But I will tell you this. We want options. And I think human beings want options.
Yep.
I don't think there's no difference. I've traveled a lot, not as much as Rob, but when I go to other countries, I see the same smiles. I see them wanting to have their kids be raised. They just want to raise good people and live a great life. There's really not that much difference all over the world. The problem is the one thing that we have options is I've lived all my life in America, and I don't take it for granted. And I think that's the problem we have a lot of time in America is we take these freedoms for granted, right? We just do. I don't know what it is. You know, we just grew up like this.
Yep.
And when I go overseas and they go, man, do you guys have football? And you can guys go to the football game and have a beer and a hot dog? And I go, yeah. And they go, ooh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
And nobody follows you? You go by yourself? So I think what's going to happen, this, as I call it, Brent's fatdemic, pandemic, whatever you want to call it, I've had more people say to me, I'm not going to wait anymore. I'm going to live there. I'm going to have a second home over here. I'm going to have a third home over here. And quite honestly, my visions are bigger, bigger, bigger. And I've never understood when people say you should only own one home. Get out of here. I'm going to go own as many as I want to, wherever I want to, whenever I want to, like Rob said. That's what freedom is. Don't limit me. By the way, I'm on everybody on this call when you think of this. If you're taking your big vision board and you go home and show it to your relatives, the problem is you're showing it to your relatives. And if you show it to small thinkers, guess what happens? It gets shrunk. I'm just telling you, watch it. Build your vision boards and show it to big thinkers. You show it to big thinkers, and I guarantee you it will happen, because I'm worried about it. But I love realtors so much. My big why, and everybody knows this, is I want to affect realtors' lives forever. Not just commissions, stock,
that's right,
and a NASDAQ company, and rev share.
That's right.
Which is residual income. And believe me when I say those are game changers, the reason we can do it is we own our own technology, which is Verbella, which is going crazy. But that's the reason we could do it. So I want to make that plea to everybody here. Go for your options.
Love it.
That's exciting. So, Michael, we have a big audience today, which is great. And I'm looking at the Facebook feed because it's going crazy. Everybody's excited. They're posting their visions. They're posting their dreams.
I love that.
Somebody just posted that they want to buy 10 houses for other families. That's their vision.
Beautiful.
How cool is that?
Yes.
You know, you're inspiring people. That's fantastic. Michael, people are watching right now that are with EXP and that are not here at EXP, but they're thinking about the opportunity. And so if they have contacts, if they have, referrals or people that they know overseas in other countries, what should someone be doing right now to cultivate those relationships and expose them to the opportunity? And then how should they, funnel that to you after that's done?
Absolutely. So thank you for that question, Scott. And it's exciting for me. We've got 30,000 ambassadors within our confines here that know this EXP story better than anyone, because you guys built it. And so I'm excited because it's not just me telling the story, it's 30,000 of us telling the story. And we all have contacts outside of the United States, and we're ready to sort of go and take this global. So what I'm saying is that we want the best options for the brand. As I was saying earlier, we want to build this story. And so the story is so important for us. And so if there are opportunities of critical mass of us sort of thinking, I'm going to sort of switch it. I'm going to say, let's say that you were an audience member and you're just sort of reading the EXP story. What would excite you? So if it excites you, I want to hear about it. So if it's an opportunity, listen, there's an opportunity in one country that was probably going to be my tier 2 country, but somebody came up with an opportunity. They have 10,000 agents in this particular country, and they want to go to EXP model. They just became tier 1. So we're having a lot of conversations. So it's just the idea that if it is a great country, but there's only like a handful of agents, let's just wait, because there's an infrastructure we need to do. We need to build a corporation. We need to have our legal entity set up. There's a lot we need to do beforehand that we won't do for a handful of agents, because it won't build the story. So let's all sort of think of it as building this global story. And if there are opportunities to look at, I am all over it.
You also mentioned, Michael, that part of the story or saga, if you will, of building internationally is monetary exchange between countries.
Yes.
And exchange rates, because that fluctuates literally. You see it on a ticker tape, it changes by the minute.
Sure it does.
So that's one of the things that really has to be looked at to go, because people will not be confined to one country. They'll start sponsoring, inter-country all over.
And that's what I'm waiting for. Absolutely. So listen, there's obviously going to be some countries will have to be obviously in currency. That's one of the things that we're dealing with right now. I've got some technology stuff that'll be introducing to EXP that I've already introduced it. We're trying to finalize it next week for language translation, back office capabilities for the international side, so that we can just go and push this through as quickly as possible.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'd love to get a kind of your vision for the next 12 months. But before I do that, I want to say to everybody watching, my whole life was Sacramento, California, Northern California for 20 plus years in real estate. I've been in almost 24 years now. Some of you are in Chicago or Miami or Des Moines or Boise or Portland or Arizona, Tucson. Your whole life in real estate is there. What EXP does is it pulls the lid off the box and gives you a global entity. Absolutely. What we're trying to tell you is this: EXP happens at every brokerage. You go to Coldwell or Remax or Berkshire and you like it, your friends will ask you why. And you'll say, well, because of X, Y, and Z. And then they'll go, you know what, maybe would the manager talk to me? Then they go, and at most companies, you're simply not compensated for that. At EXP, there's financial alignment. You will be compensated. So why this international thing is a big deal to you is pretty soon you'll be getting paid on home sales across all 50 states, every province of Canada, which I am today, 75 agents in the UK, 35 in Australia. They sell homes over there. I get paid. That you can get paid because you have no idea your best friend from college who's up in Portland selling 40 homes a year for Century 21 or whatever. They know people from British Columbia and Alberta and Calgary who know people in France and Italy. And,
that's right.
And so what happens is your network will go global. And that's why Airbnb, Uber, Netflix, Amazon exploded. And so you're going, even though you love Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, it's a quaint, wonderful town, or Scottsdale, Arizona, you're no longer, we just can't unshackle you. So my question to you, Michael, this is why it's a big deal to all of you watching. This is life-changing generational wealth. My parents put 55 years into real estate brokers, last 25 at CB, and they stopped selling. They've never gotten a dime since.
Yeah.
You know, I had a health scare this week, and I don't have to work the rest of the year, and my wife and kids will be well compensated, right? And it grows exponentially. Whereas in real estate, the old day when Brent was listing 18 to 28 homes, if I had a health scare and couldn't work anymore, boom, it was over. They weren't going to go do what a daddy could do. Daddy was good at killing stuff, dragging it home and feeding it to mama and the kids, right? So that's all of you watching.
You start from zero every year.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, Michael, the next 12 months, how many countries do you see us going into? Can you say that? I don't put it in spot, but the next 12 months, do you have a rough, can you give me a even conservative number? Or can you say anything along those lines?
I probably can't because of publicly traded company, but I can say that it is.
I can. There we go. I'm not on the board. I'm not an employee. 8, we're going to be an 8+, but I'll say that's just my little thought. We're going to have 1 million agents. Now, I thought 10 years.
we will probably get to a double-digit number by the end of the year.
Oh,
how's that?
That's wonderful. It really is.
So going back to the question I asked Michael, because I want to make sure I heard you right.
Wait, I got to stop. Which year? I'm sorry. 2021?
The end of this year. I look at calendar years.
2020. That's awesome. Go ahead, Scott.
I'm a hustler, buddy.
All right. I'm all for it. Go ahead, Scott. I apologize.
No, you're good, Brent. I just wanted to, kind of reiterate what Michael said, because I think it's really important that the audience understand is because we're all working together, right? But if you know one agent in France and, maybe they're an incredible agent, but they're one agent, right? They're independent and they want to come to EXP. You don't want them to call you up and say, "Hey, Michael, I'm ready to open up France.
Exactly.
I got an agent," right?
Exactly.
It's not the way. But if that one agent owns a boutique brokerage, let's say,
you got it,
and they're serious about coming on board and bringing their whole team, and maybe they're connected with some organization where they can bring 30, 50, or 100 people immediately.
That's the ideal scenario.
Now that's what you want to do. You want to have those conversations.
That's right.
Then when the country's open, then we can shoot the singles,
Precisely. There you go.
Got it.
I think that's perfect. That's a really good, excellent way to put it, Scotty, because we don't want to overload Michael with 5,000 individual agents to start.
Right.
That will come in time. Just have faith that there's plenty of room for everybody. There are millions and millions of agents. I don't know if you have that number or not, Michael, but I hear all the time there's somewhere between 1 and 2 million agents in North America.
That's correct.
And somewhere between 5 and 10 worldwide.
I think that's about right.
Is that correct?
I think that's about right. Yeah.
Well, here's what I'll tell you. I know the numbers already. It's hard to believe that I looked them up today.
Shocking.
Just amazing.
Shocking.
But we're in the number 3 company in population, the USA. We're in the number 21 population company, the UK, number 39 Canada, and number 55 Australia. That's 462 million people. There's 7.8 billion people on Earth.
That's right.
Guys, we're just starting. We're just, it's all funny because when you start getting the moment.
Oh, Gino froze up.
It must be a dust storm in Texas.
It took his breath away.
You froze, Gino.
Did I freeze? Did I freeze? That was awesome. Okay. But I hear it every week. Am I too late?
Botox. It's your Botox, Gene.
That's right. That's right. I have no. Here's what I'm going to say to all of you. I'll show you on this. Watch this. Look at these. Franchise. I owned a franchise. EXP.
Making real estate fun again, baby.
Awesome.
Here we go, baby.
No, but Gene, I agree with you. Some of your watchers going, am I too late? Am I too late? Look, there's going to be 1 million of us worldwide. Plus, we're talking, our friend Michael, who's got experience in 170 countries, believes we can do it the next 5 years. That kind of blew my mind. I've been a 10-year guy. So I'm jumping on the 5-year Michael Valdez.
Let's go.
But I'm telling you what, there's 970,000 coming, and they're going to come through somebody. So we've been on dirt roads gravel roads marked with potholes, and it has not been easy. But now we're publicly traded, debt-free, profitable every quarter now. And guess what, baby? As we grow internationally, we are going to add 970,000, and they're going to come through you and people you know. And this happens in every company, like I said. Whether you join us or not, it's happening in every company. You're just not compensated for it. So, Gene, I love your, we've paved the roads, and we just paved the on-ramp to the interstate globally. So look out, baby. Here comes EXP. I'm so excited.
I want to get Michael's
paving the road for global. I love that.
Yeah, I'd really like to get Michael's perspective on, you've worked for a lot of different companies. You've seen a lot of different things. A company that's this agent-centric, I mean, the ones that most of us came from before, the Red Book company, they started it, they tried to get it, they had the best idea on the planet at the time, I think. I mean, it really phenomenal.
Sure.
The direction that this is going, what you see that EXP has to offer compared to anything else you have ever seen, and you've seen worldwide, the difference between a company-centric, agent-centric, and what we're putting together, what does that mean to the community of real estate agents worldwide?
I think I'll take it one further. I think it just means to the community of humankind, because we start talking about just family and what you get to provide for all of this. And remember, I spent 15 years at one organization, and and I had meetings with other folks and other competitors. And so to make this move, it's something that I had to really believe in, because it was also my reputation in moving over to wherever my new house was going to be.
Right.
And so it was, so I really spent a lot of time, and, we went through and we start looking at this, and, you start looking at this model, which is so foreign, coming back from a very corporate structure, right? You come back from the largest sort of corporate brands that exist out there, and you start looking at this and you're flipping it on its side, and you're just sort of saying, no, the agent becomes the brand, not the brand. And so it's such a way to start looking at that in such a unique perspective. And then you start adding in what is already a very competitive commission split. And then you start adding everything else in, right? So we'll give you back the cap once you become an icon in stock. You're part of this family. You're an owner now. And so every turn of the way, you're motivating somebody, you're incentivizing them. You're making them be aspirational. You're letting them tell the story to others. It is an exciting model that doesn't exist anywhere. Now to take it globally is just phenomenal. It's just phenomenal. People are really taking that emotional aspect of what this is and really running with that, because it's such a beautiful story.
You brought up something that we've thought about all the time. Sorry, Robbie.
No, go ahead.
Ownership.
Yep.
Partnership, ownership, partnership. In every other brand I've been involved in, it was the owner who got all the money off the top. Sure. It's that simple. I said, why wouldn't you want to be a partner with the corporation and you get the money off the top? I always tell this every single time I talk to somebody. If you own Coca-Cola stock, how much Pepsi are you drinking?
That's right.
So when our agents own stock, they become partners with the company. That has never, ever been done in this industry. Ever, ever, ever.
Ever. And
it's really huge. And we just don't, everybody talks about the revenue share and the residual, which is great. But the thing that binds us is that we're going to build this together. And we're going to help so many people. It's going to be the biggest real estate corporation ever. By the way, who's leading it? Who's the owners? Us.
We all are. That's the beauty of this.
And I haven't seen an article written like that yet. I'm sorry, I haven't seen the article written by anybody in the industry yet that's talking like we are on this podcast today. The bottom line is this is a game changer. We are not thinking outside the box. We're a whole new box.
It's like that's a beautiful statement. I actually I have a podcast that I do also just on global real estate, and I had Glenn on as a guest last week, and it's gonna air next week. And so I introduced him as my new boss, and so he said, "I'm not your boss, I'm your coach." And it's sort of like, here's the founder of the company, right? And so it's that mentality from the very top that goes through, and it does resonate and it permeates. And that's really what this vision is, right? And that is what's so special about this company.
Love it.
It's everyone helping each other.
Oh yeah, beautiful. So
Has anyone ever, I'm sorry, just one real quick question, and you jump right back in, Brent. Is there anybody in the history have ever achieved 1 million agents before?
I don't think so.
So this is not only just record breaking, this is world record breaking.
Yes.
And I believe like
there is no bricks and mortar, and just not throwing out the number either. There's no bricks and mortar. There's no real barrier to growth except where we have offices. So when you start thinking about the population of every country that we're going to be entering, a lot of these countries don't have licensing requirements. So it really could be a lot of people that are representing EXP because that's the way business is done. So it's the idea of 1 million people representing this company is not far-fetched. There are other factors that are involved in this. You know, when you start talking to one country that has 10,000 agents, what if we sort of get them into a rev share, right? And so what does that number grow to? So it's really is a possibility to really sort of grow this, and yeah, 1 million agents has never been achieved.
And how do you see, or do you, Virbela impacting this growth?
You know, I had a great conversation with Alex Howard, the CEO of Virbela, last week, and we just started talking about international, and they've already had some language capabilities that they do on Virbela. I think that they've been able to do it, I think in 17 countries, if I'm not mistaken. And so this platform is something that we can really take and be able to adapt. I actually start looking at parts of EXP world that will be in different languages when we have critical mass. You know, we can have an EXP world in Spanish, an EXP world in Portuguese, an EXP world in Mandarin. You know, it's the idea that we can really sort of make EXP, because the capabilities are endless for us. We own Virbela, so we can create different parts of the world in language. And so it'll be really, it will be the world. It will be so geographically vast, and it will be all, I mean, I'm sort of like doing big vision here. 1 million agents, you know, whatever the number of languages would be into EXP world. I could actually sort of see somebody when we come in, when we're in critical mass, someone coming into EXP world and picking the language that they want to experience.
You know, I would love to see, this is maybe a vision, maybe it exists, I don't know. But I only know 2.5 languages, right? English, French, and a little bit of Spanish. What I would love to see, the vision is, if you could go into the world and you could speak your language and people have a dial or a click that they want to hear what language it comes out of. So as I speak,
we could probably get that
instantly translating it into their language or into 27 different languages at the same time. So when I do a webinar, or Brent does a webinar, or Scott does a webinar, we're speaking in our native tongue, but it's being translated instantaneously into 27 different languages, depending on what you dialed in.
I can't promise you that this year, but I like it.
It's coming.
I love it. Man, oh man, that was worth a bottle of Dom Perignon, let me tell you.
I like it.
Let me hop on that, because anyway.
You can't let Brent ask a poor question. You're all jumping on Brent.
I'm way before Brent. I was here before Brent. Here's my big thing.
I love it.
People that went out and did seminars, did talks and wrote books, their business is changing. I've talked to a lot of them. We had one on last week, Mark Victor Hansen and his beautiful wife, Crystal.
Yeah.
And he was telling me afterwards, we were talking, he says, Gene, this has been a boom for me. I said, what do you mean? He goes, I can't go out and do speeches anymore. So I do these Zooms, and in Vietnam, there's like 10,000 people watching it.
Sure.
And then 20,000 people in Indonesia watching it. And I've been able to reach people bigger, faster, quicker, if you guys remember from last week.
Yeah.
So I really believe this is a switch that's going to happen.
This is it.
People have accepted it. You know, I don't have to
30,000 already.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't have to sit on the back porch and have one-on-ones with some guy that's got to come out of retirement.
That's right.
You know.
That's right.
That worked out.
That
did
worked
work
out pretty good.
That was a
So-
big deal.
Oh, yeah. Michael,
That
real
was a big
quick.
deal.
I think we blew by it when we had you on. There's so many new agents last 2, 3, 4, 5 years. I think we mentioned big companies and what you did in your background. Not everybody understands that. So I want and I want to ask you a question. But first of all, how many agents were you kind of like your prior job? How many agents? Like we have 30,000, but your old company had multiple brands and had X number of agents.
300,000 agents.
Oh, we're
So
going to definitely blow by that.
Yeah, his old brokerage, I don't know if we could say it, but they were a conglomerate, stock-based company that owned multiple brands, adding up to 300,000. How many countries would you dabble in worldwide?
113.
113 countries. I'm not ashamed. I tell people we headhunted the biggest stud in the world. And we paid him obscene amounts of money, stock. I don't know what they did, fractional ownership, and Glenn Sanford's yacht. I don't know. I don't care. I mean, you could come to my cabin at Lake Tahoe, whatever. Good. But you are to use an 80s term, you are a stud. You're a baller, and we're so excited to have you here. So my question is, when we go into a country, how important is it to align with the right leadership, to connect with the
100%.
right people?
100%.
So can you elaborate on that a little bit?
100%. Absolutely. So the countries that we're looking at, you have to have the influencer come in order for to have this story take effect. Now, I have, it's sort of like 15 years of international experience. And prior to Realogy, I was with Deutsche Bank for 10 years. And all of that was international business as well. And so I have 25 years of international experience in both real estate and finance. And so I have a lot of contacts around the world. And so it's really the idea of having that key person in most countries to be able to really validate what that message is and what that story is in order to have that growth happen a lot quicker. And so that's really very important. And so thankfully we have those contacts.
Yeah, and then once we get the key people, then we can bring the solo producers doing
listen
10, 7, 3 that they can tell their network, but we have to align with the right people in each country.
So I sort of think of it as think of it as a shopping mall. You want your anchor tenants.
There you go.
Right? You want your anchor tenants in first, and then you can fill the third floor food court.
Hey, Michael, what's a shopping mall? What's a shopping mall?
Exactly.
Aren't those all out of...
Let's go back to our little, there you go. Right.
So Michael, I know you're heavily involved in ARIA, and the first time I saw you, you were doing a Facebook Live with John Wong, who founded ARIA, and Tom Trump, who was the president last year. And these guys have tremendous global reach. So I know you're connected with all these guys, and it's so exciting to see that you're bringing this culture to the company. I mean, I've gotten more phone calls from people just saying, man, we got Michael Valdez. Can you believe it? Tom Trong he was beside himself.
I love Tom. He's a great guy. And Jim Wong, who's the current president, is also a good friend of mine as well.
We just got Tiger Woods. That's what this is. LeBron James.
There you go.
So what do you want the world of EXP to know about Michael Valdez? What's something that maybe they don't know about you? That they should know?
What's that?
What's something? Yeah.
I think it's the fact that I am all in. I am really sort of tireless with this. I've been averaging 14-hour days, and it's sort of and I feel refreshed. I wake up and I'm like, I'm ready to speak to the next person.
Welcome to our world. Welcome to our world.
That's it. It's all great. I've got another 5 calls today, and I'm excited. So I'm just excited to build this. I'm thrilled about the story. I'm so glad that you gave me such a wonderful thing to go and build from, and I'm so appreciative of the opportunity.
That's very good. Are you going to be living here, or are you going to be spending most of your time overseas? What do you think?
Well, it depends on how this goes, but I might be living in Puerto Rico soon.
Welcome. welcome.
Listen, in my old job, I traveled 200 days a year.
Oh.
So it was, so I'm used to traveling. But what I've found is that we're advancing a lot of conversations virtually.
Right.
A lot.
Right.
Isn't that awesome?
We'll see how it all works out.
Yeah, you don't have to jump on a plane. You can do it like this, right?
I know, it's crazy. It's really crazy.
So what part of the world do you live in right now?
I live in New York City.
New York, okay.
Yes.
And he has a place in Miami, which is pretty close to Puerto Rico.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
Yeah.
Yep.
Different track structured, but still not bad. Better than New York.
Yeah.
Worse than Puerto Rico, but better than New York. It's okay.
So, Brent, I want to parlay something you said a while ago. You know, for someone that's listening and, you know, maybe they're brand new and they're going, well, I don't know anybody internationally. You know, I mean, I like you said, I only know agents in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. I don't get out much, right? And what you said was so important is that it's not about who they know today. It's about the relationships that they already have and who they know and who those people know. You didn't know people in 7 provinces of Canada when you started 3 years ago, or you probably didn't. Maybe you did. I don't know. But you probably didn't know someone in all 50 states, and now you're getting paid in all 50 states. You didn't know agents all over Australia and England and soon to be, you know, France and South America and Africa and wherever else we go, you know. So it's not about who you know. It's about building the relationships where you're at and letting those relationships grow and connect you with other people. And so just start where you're at today. That's all you have to do.
Well, I've always said, I want to piggyback onto that, is that we've always said, build locally, but think globally.
That's it.
Build locally the people where you want to expand to. There are cultures locally from different countries that know people in those other countries. And by default, in the way our system works, you now know and can touch people just based on who you know, who knows someone.
That's exactly it. 100%.
I am like in Sacramento. I told people right here in Roseville, the suburbs, about 20 minutes from downtown, beautiful suburbs. Well, somebody told somebody in Auburn, the foothills, you know, clomping around there, you know, it's just very beautiful, the Sierras where they found the gold, you know, 49ers. But then they told someone up in Chico, which is a farm town, rice, almonds, farm town. But guess who lives in Chico? Franco. Franco, if you're listening, hello. Franco is very Italian. And he loves Italy and all his family and friends there. He cannot wait for EXP to open in Italy. He is going to blow the lid off it. But all I did was tell somebody who sells 70 homes a year in the foothills. He told Noel Kreider, who told some people who went to Chico, and we're going to. So you don't have to know anybody in Italy. I don't know anybody in Italy, but your business will grow globally.
That's right.
Just tell 5 or 10 where you live and watch what happens. It will blow your mind.
The floodgates will be opening soon. It'll be amazing.
And the other way you can do it is take a cruise, which I know they don't do cruises anymore. Take a cruise. I always tell people, they go, where do I find people? I said, go to the hot tub on the cruises.
Yeah.
You meet every realtor is in the hot tub on the cruise.
There's a realtor in every hot tub.
Every hot tub is
There's a lot of hashtags out of this show today.
That's funny. I know. I figured at one time that I already have over 1,000 agents. I have already over 1,000 agents that are with the team just from the people I met while I was traveling around the world.
That's amazing.
Mostly on wine trips, wine cruises. Apparently, there's a lot of drinking involved in some of the real estate folks. And but excellent, wonderful wine. But we gave us something in common that we could talk to, so we developed a relationship without having to talk very first about real estate. We got like what we talk about is get to know the person, ask a lot of questions, don't spear them with EXP, find out what they like, find out if they could do it more, would they, find out if they had passive income coming, would they spend more time doing that. You can work yourself into that conversation just by living your life. And my wife and I do travel a lot, and I have this disease that I find myself inside these offices with pictures of houses on the outside window because I can't resist. I've got to know what real estate's going on in these different countries.
That's right.
They're very, very happy to talk and chat when you just get to know them, and their guards down, your guards down. You're just developing a friendship. You're developing that relationship that you can bring back and say, oh, by the way, we met on the cruise. If you wouldn't mind, I really got something cool I want to run by you to get your opinion on. It may be something that's perfect for the lifestyle you told me you wanted.
That's absolutely it. It's all about human connection.
And there's magic right there. That's how you do it.
Absolutely is.
You wrote that down because that was gold. That was gold. Absolutely.
Awesome.
Well, we're coming to that time of the end of the day where we wrap this thing up. And, you know, any last comments or thoughts, guys? Michael, it's been a pleasure.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you guys for this. I mean, it's sort of like the four superstars of this brand. Really, you guys coming together. You're a powerhouse. You're a force individually, but collectively, it is explosions. And it's really just a pleasure for me to be on. Really, thank you for welcoming me so warmly to your home. And I am just so thrilled to be growing this brand with all of you.
Well, we're excited you're here, Michael. That's for
Thank
sure.
you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you,
Thank
Michael.
you so much.
And
Thank
I
you,
know
guys.
we're going to have you back because you're going to be introducing people from around the world.
I will be back a lot. You just invite me on here.
So every time we open up a new country, I expect you to come back and
That's a
bring
deal.
people on,
That's
and
a deal.
let's give them a warm welcome. That's going to be exciting. Brent, Gene, Rob, we were built for this. Michael, you were definitely built for this. Thank you for being here.
Guys,
God bless
thank you so
everyone. Have a
much.
great week. Have a happy Memorial Day. We'll see you next week on Built for This Live.
All righty.
Thank you,
Bye.
guys.